watch and said, okay, I'm late. So my name is Mark Revolt, and I represent Congressional District Number 4, which is basically Lane County, Eugene, Metropolitan District. I own a commercial insurance brokerage with offices in Portland and Eugene, and I used to be for 20 years a police officer. And so, as you might imagine, I did not vote for ballot measure 91. Having said that, I'm the guy that often says I'm looking for this to be our next Silicon Valley. This will be our next wine country, because I really believe in what we're about to do. And I really believe that we're going to do it right. We're going to take our time. I have two sons who've been making fun of me since November, who are grown. One, I'm about to become a grandfather for the first time, and it died. Okay. And he told his mother, you know, I like that, okay, but I don't think I'm going to let the kids hang around with a drug lord. I said, okay. I didn't really like you that much anyway, so I don't care. And then the youngest boy texted me the night that it passed. I was watching his old team play. He said, so Dad, what's it like to be one of the top 5 drug dealers in America today? I said, you know, I just finished paying your college and you owe me $1 million, so I'm really happy to be here. I think what we're about to do is going to be epic. We've learned a lot from the states that have already gone before us, and I think it's going to be a wild ride. I look forward to it.
Thanks, Commissioner. We appreciate you being here. All right, as Dean said, what we like to do in these presentations, and just in all fairness and openness, what we like to do is we're here to solicit information from you, but we just gave the legislature 52 recommendations related to what needs to be done in order for the OLCC to regulate. But we're here tonight because in every meeting we come up with new things, we come up with new ideas, and we come up with things, a new way to look at things. So we're here tonight to get those ideas. We're here to ferret those things out. So the first thing we like to do, and the first thing that we found out as we've gone around the stage is we need to give everybody a baseline of how measure 91. Everybody doesn't know what it was, it's a big, huge ballot issue. We want to walk everybody through measure 91, give you some background. So Commissioner Harper and I are going to walk through this presentation. At the end of the presentation, we're going to have some time for some clarifying questions. The clarifying questions are really just about this presentation. Anybody, no way, not having a question answered at the end. A lot of the questions get answered during the process, but because these are big meetings, it's hard to get everybody in front of us. We had, I think our biggest meeting was over 500 people in Eugene, so it was huge. We had 500 people almost in class as well. So we're glad to be here. So Commissioner Harper and I are going to kind of take you through what is Measure 91. So the basics. Measure 91 was approved by voters in November of 2014. It gives the OLCC the authority to tax, license, and regulate marijuana. A little more detail on those events. And again, the licensee may hold multiple types of licenses. So, unlike alcohol, is when we came out of prohibition. In alcohol, you can't hold multiple licenses unless maybe you're like a brewpub. But here, under marijuana, the bill says you can have every single license type. Commissioner Harper.
Again, the excise taxes will be paid by the grower. Net revenue distribution across the state will be 40% will go to the common school fund, 20% to mental health, alcoholism, and drug services, 15% to public, to the state police, 10% to cities for law enforcement, 10% to counties for law enforcement, and 5% to Oregon Health Authority for alcohol and drug use prevention. This is the breakout from where the funds will be headed. All right. Go ahead. The act does not affect, I want to make perfectly clear that this act does not affect the Oregon medical marijuana program. Home grows up to 4 plants and 8 ounces per residence beginning July 1st, 2015. Right around the corner. The act prohibits consumption in public. The act does not allow local governments to tax marijuana, and municipalities may opt out through a general election.
All right. So, while they have to not allow local government to tax marijuana, 100 jurisdictions in the state of Oregon, cities and counties have said that they want to tax marijuana. So this is a huge issue that's before the legislature. You're going to continue to hear about it, about what's going on. The legislature does have the ability to change Measure 91, unlike Commissioner Raval would tell you, unlike Department of Justice, issued the guidance to the states that legalize recreational marijuana. What they did was they authorized something called the Cole Memorandum, C-O-L-E Memorandum. The Cole Memorandum is what the OLCC is using as its guiding document, and that's what Colorado and Washington have used as their guiding document. You can go to marijuana.oregon.gov, which is our single source state site, for obtaining information and download the Cole Memorandum so you can take a look at it in its entirety. But tonight we're going to walk you through kind of the issues related to what the federal guidance is on this.
Prevent the distribution of marijuana to minors. We want to prevent revenues from the sale of the marijuana from going to criminal enterprises, gangs, or cartels. We want to prevent the diversion of marijuana from where it is legal under state law to other states. And we want to prevent state-authorized activities from being used as a cover for illegal activities. We want to prevent violence and the use of firearms in the cultivation and distribution of marijuana. And finally, preventing drug driving and other adverse public health consequences associated with marijuana use. And also, we want to prevent the growing of marijuana on public lands. One more. And we want to make sure that we're preventing marijuana use on public property.
So just so everybody understands, we want to put that out there. We realize that while the Cole Memorandum does provide guidance, and I'm an attorney and an administrator, it does provide guidance to the state. Doesn't have the force of law. Congress didn't pass it, so it can be changed from administration to administration. So they can decide tomorrow that they're going to change their guidance to come after marijuana growers. That can be it. So we just put that out there as a caveat, not to scare anybody out of the market, but just to be clear, so everybody has the same baseline. In order to meet the conditions of the Cole Memorandum, both states, Colorado and Washington, have adopted the seed-to-sale tracking system, which is a robust inventory tracking software in order to ensure that taxes are collected and inventory does not migrate from the legal system to the illegal system. We have done that in Oregon. We put out a request for information earlier in the year, right after the first of the year. We now have a request for proposal up in order to obtain software vendors to put a seed sale tracking system in. We don't feel at the OLCC or advice of legal counsel don't feel like we can have a system in Oregon that meets the Cole Memorandum without having a seed sale tracking system. What the seed sale tracking system is it's designed also for more effective audits and again to satisfy the federal guidelines. What we're planning on doing as part of the system is every plant is tracked via code from seedling to final sale to the consumer, and vendors have developed the software. The idea is it's just like an RFID tag when you go to Target or Walmart or whatever. If you walk out with merchandise you're not supposed to have, an alarm goes off. In this case, when OLCC needs to come in and audit this room to determine how many marijuana plants are in the room or how much packaged marijuana is in the room, our agents can simply go in, weigh one, count what's there, and then we can spot check and count what's there or not there. It's efficient for the growers, it's efficient for the retailers, it's efficient for everybody. It's a little bit more cost, but overall we believe that it's going to save cost to the state. But we're not sitting there with a smartphone scanner taking us hours of somebody's time as we go through and count marijuana plants in some warehouse or marijuana retail store. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. Let's walk through the license types just a little bit. So the license type, the first, go ahead, Commissioner Harper.
Or type producers. That's the only license able to cultivate marijuana. They're responsible for the payment of taxes at first point of sale. Then we have the processors. They package and label marijuana items. Also manufacture edible marijuana products and marijuana extracts. We have the wholesalers. They buy and sell at wholesale and the retail. They sell marijuana items at the retail for exclusively adults over the age of 21.
Licensing is a big issue for marijuana. The measure limited only those 4 particular marijuana types. We know that as OLCC and we know as a regulator that we're going to need more types of licensing. We've requested some of those in the legislature. We've requested a testing license. We know that we're going to need a license to test and for testing facilities to be able to hold that. That wasn't anticipated by the draft. In addition to the testing license, we're also looking at a research and development license. So OLCC can license somebody to do research and development related to marijuana. Those are the types of licensing types that we're looking at. We're also looking at, and we're recommending the legislature, subcategories under the processor. So just because you're a processor doesn't mean you go to soup to nuts. Really, we're looking for endorsements within that processor license. So that we know at the OLCC who we have to send out, because not everybody is going to be skilled in whatever extraction method or whatever use there is. So there's some reasons behind we're doing what we're doing in order to have efficiency on staff, in order to minimize things. The other thing that, we're not just trying to create more money related to licenses. OLCC can get very little of its overhead related to the license fees that are in this measure. They're prescribed in the measure. We are trying to do some things. We recommended the legislature, which we believe that they're going to adopt based upon the committee hearing that happened Wednesday night, the producer license. Well, we believe that there's a big deal here in Oregon about kind of the farm to table and farm to whatever. Under the producer license as drafted by the drafters, if you're a producer, you could dry package your material and get it directly to a retailer. We believe that we should be able to do that at OLCC. We don't think you should have to obtain a processor license in order to do that and pay an extra $1,000 to the state of Oregon. So those are some of the things that we're looking at within the licensing categories, and we've made formal recommendations to the legislature that they're going to act on. So that's what we've been doing as we've gone out across the state, gone on the road, talked to people. So those are some of the things that we're getting that I think are very positive for the industry. The OLCC, a lot of people wonder why is the OLCC is the OLCC the proper place. You have to realize the OLCC and the commissioners who come before us and the staff that are served valiantly at the OLCC have developed the number one craft beer distilling state in the country.
Just want to shout out here for advocating for growers and processors to be able to do both, because they should be, they're the experts at that. But for medical and for recreational to really distinguish itself from medical and dispensary level, I really sympathize with the difficulty of finding real estate. But we should not present a face of, craft brewing. We should not be encouraging people to get medicine at a craft brewery. So therefore, in my mind, recreational dispensaries should really craft their own image, their own rules, and medical dispensaries should be completely separated.
Advocate for outside investment. One of the worst decisions made by Colorado and Washington is limiting the amount of outside investment, restricting it to in-state only. There's a number of businesses that are about to fail after April 15th and when the taxes come due. So banks are obviously not going to be able to lend as long as the FDIC prohibits them from lending, which is currently the case. So especially, smaller companies that lend to companies, they have to go outside of the state to bring in capital to help lend to these businesses. So it's literally going to kill a number of businesses, compounded by the fact that you're not going to have a cap on the number of licenses. So I just strongly encourage you guys to.
Oregon doesn't have a cap on the number of licenses, and you certainly should watch the debate in Salem, because I know that there's some interest in limiting capital. The OLCC does not have the ability to limit capital, so that's a legislative issue that you need to watch that Measure 91 committee.
Okay. And you guys, you're doing a great job of keeping your comments brief. Thank you.
There's been a lot of talk tonight about drug driving and addressing that with Cole Memorandum. It looks like a number of other states have decided to ban delivery. I think there's an important channel of revenue with regulated home delivery, and I think it's necessary for us to address it with sensible policy so that business owners that are also dealing with zoning issues and a number of other issues are able to serve the patients in Oregon or the consumers in Oregon with a safe access solution.
Part of what we testified on last night in the legislature was the legislature needs to clarify Measure 91. It's not clear to us under Measure 91 whether home delivery is allowed or not. We believe it's a policy decision that the legislature needs to make.
The outside financing, funding, I think outside individuals investing, that would be family members or friends, should be fine. We can talk about corporate interests And I'd also like to see maybe a recommendation to the legislature to have more money dedicated to education. I think as we are looking at a national discussion, having clear education about what marijuana does to people, how it's used, is going to be more important to go forward.
We have a two-part educational issue. We'll talk to the legislature about that.
I would just like to address the issue of the size of the grow and restrictions on the size of the grow. I believe here in the state of Oregon, and Portland in particular, we know what craft is. And it doesn't matter that Olympia Beer produces tons. It doesn't matter that Schmitz. It doesn't matter. Who cares what they're all producing? It's craft. I don't drink, and I won't let Rainier in my refrigerator, nor will I let shitty pot in my house. And so here's the deal. Let's grow big farms, let's grow little farms, let's take it all, or let's let Oregon make all the money. Let Oregon produce the marijuana that's Miller, that's got all the little guys. Let us go to other states when it becomes legal, and let us sell the Marlboros and the Camels and the basics to them while we enjoy primo bud.
Right. You can't limit the amount. We're really going to invest in the free market. And furthermore, in regards to craft brewery, which is 100% right as well. Also, you guys got to reconsider the late 2015 open date for retailers because, practically speaking, if you're issuing producer licenses in January or February, you're going to have product that's ready in May-ish, June-ish. You can't force these guys to sit on all this product and slow their cycle up. You need to have retailers probably ready to accept that product. It's only going to be 3-4 months after you issue a producer license.
We're aware of that. We're just got to be able to phase it.
So, middle 2006.
Because of staff time, I think is going to be the biggest issue.
Chair Patrick, Commissioners, thanks for having this meeting. My name is Russ Elba. I'm the Executive Director of Portland Normal. I was seeking some clarification from you. You mentioned 19% as the figure for underage serving. How much is that is related to liquor stores, bars, restaurants? Because when it comes to Colorado, in Laramie County, they did a sting to try to get underage service at a medical marijuana dispensary or at a pawn shop, and they got exactly 0. So since we are so strong in checking for IDs, is that really a fair comparison with alcohol and marijuana?
I don't know whether it's a fair comparison or not. I'm just sharing information with you that people make mistakes. That we have people that we have install card readers that check the ID electronically and they fail to use those, even though they train staff to do other things. So mistakes happen. I'm not trying to draw a direct corollary. I can't give you immediately right now. We're just trying to share the same information we're trying to share based upon our regulatory experience that we have. As we've been around the state, we've heard from people regulated just like you do alcohol. One of the things we have an alcohol server permit. That's why we brought it up, and that's why we're continuing to have the discussion with Oregonians about this.
Thank you very much. And just to echo what the last speaker said, I think Oregon growers and processors and retail stores ought to be subject to the same exact limits, minimums is subject to for beer. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm a little tired of the legislature today, but one of the senators, somebody I smoked pot with, and maybe those folks are going to be able to come out of the closet. I just wanted to say that apparently the RAND Corporation did a study for the state of Vermont, and they estimated that somewhere less than 200 acres could meet the entire marijuana demand for the United States. Our Oregon Department of Agriculture said it's 75 acres. So I think that if we recognize what the Oregon Department of Agriculture said about industrial hemp several decades ago, it's noxious weed because it's too cheap to market because you can grow it everywhere. So that being said, I'm all in favor of people having responsible lives and responsible access, but I personally am going to do everything I can to keep people out of your market by growing their own marijuana under the 4-plant limit, because people should not have to buy something that they can otherwise do for themselves. So that being said, I probably made a couple more enemies in the room tonight, and I have some friends, and one was on here your board, and you all know who you are.
Yeah, I just have quick comments. One of them is that, I'm a bit older, so I'm kind of a little bit worried about the initial process. And it seems like so often that a measure passes, and then by the time it gets through this whole process, not yours particularly, but the legislative process, the legal process, it's a whole different animal. So I just really want you to really think about what the intent of the voters were when they did this whole thing. The second thing I want to comment on regarding the co-mingling of the product, just from a business model, it seems to me like the people that are already established in business, which takes up pretty much all the geographic area important that I see, they've got a huge competitive advantage over anybody that's going to try to enter into a business with that kind of a scenario in place. So it's just from a business